Yo guys, once again I'm giving something new a shot. As you can tell, I really like telling stories about my life. People like it online, I think it's fun, so I'm gonna start telling a few stories, and here there'll be like a speed paint or something going on in the background. Right now I'm just redoing a shitty doodle from when I was like 15. That was supposed to be Lockdown, but a human. But I recently like redid a design for him. I made him unintentionally very hot, as you will see. um, my boyfriend hasn't been around, so he's the only man I've been thinking about for like fucking a week and a half now. But I digress. If I sound different, it's because I have a new laptop. It's straight up a gaming PC, and my boyfriend bought this for me as an early Christmas gift. Bless him. I love this thing with all my heart. I kind of like the mic a little better. It's not as echoey, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get like an actual mic at one point. I just haven't got around to it, so we'll see. Anyway, I don't want to beat around the bush no more. Let me dive straight in, cause holy shit. Today's story is about my friends, quote unquote friends. Well, my old friends. I broke off with them a long time ago, luckily. There was one dude I was actually okay with. He was cool. I saw him a few times working at Spirit Halloween last month, and when he comes up with the story, I'll actually change his name because I was cool with him, but fuck the rest of them. Let me tell you how I met these fuckers. So it started off with, just how I meet most people. My brother knows them. My brother knew two of them. There was Tyler, and the other one I was cool with. We'll just call him Jethro. Tyler and Jethro were friends with my brother, and I think at that time I hung out with them once or twice, but at that point I didn't really give a shit about them. I later found out that they were in my grade, and once my older brother was out of elementary school, these two came out and hung with me. They figured, oh, well, that's his sister. Maybe they're similar. Well, we are, but we had a few classes together, and we just did shit, Let me describe these two for you. Jethro was kind of normal. He talked funny, but there wasn't anything wrong with him, really. He was pretty much always cool with me. We could talk, and I didn't want to fucking kill myself. He was really big on Halloween, and since my grandpa also loves to decorate for Halloween, when the season would come around, I'd offer tips and like help him decorate his house and shit because I learned a lot from my grandpa from when he does it. This kid would do it all by himself. His parents usually never helped him. Let me tell you about Tyler. I don't know what the fuck was the matter with this kid. I don't know if he was autistic or had Tourette's or some shit, but as years went on, he got fucking weird. He was always a dick to me. The last time I saw him was 11th grade, and when 12th grade started, I quickly realized he fucking dropped out. I had 11th grade English with him, and he sat maybe one empty desk away from me, I think, and we made small talk here and there. And then there was a point in the year where shit got weird. He just kind of turn to me and spout some weird shit, and then he'd like turn back to his work. He'd just be like, fucking crusty ass old grandma turns back around, and I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Let me jump back into the past here. So Tyler, Jethro, they were okay at the time. Then I met Elizabeth. Jesus fucking Christ, Elizabeth. Like, all these morons, they seemed cool at first, then shit got weird with her too. She had weird habits, like she'd flare her fucking arms for no reason. She was like, I think she was like confused with her sexuality, so she kind of took it out on me by violating me at any fucking moment she could. I'm not fucking kidding. The worst example of this is when she laid on top of me and wouldn't get up, mind you. This girl was fucking big. Like, she wasn't fat, but she was bigger than me. She was shorter, but she was stockier. And she was just an all-around weirdo, and she would abuse the shit out of her sister and her cats. Her sister was also a goddamn demon, but I'm not going to talk about her because I didn't know shit about her. Their mom seemed like a basic-ass soccer mom, but, she was a psycho. She was a fucking psycho. She didn't give a shit about what her kids were doing, ever. She barged into my friend's house to scream at her mom, and everybody was pissed at her for a while. Then there was another Tyler. I call him Fat Ass Tyler. He was this big fucking fat piece of shit who was a giant cunt. He was a dick to me, he was a dick to my brother, he was a dick to everybody else, but they still hung out with him for some reason. And what the others told me is that he beat his sister with a golf club and gave her severe brain damage, and that's why he's living with foster parents. His own fucking parents didn't want to ever see him again, because of what he did to his sister. I don't know how true that is to this day, because they were all lying pieces of shit most of the time. And this next bitch, her name was Becca. She was the textbook example of a snobby, basic bitch. She pretended like she liked me, and I think she kind of did, but only when she had something to gain from it. She was really superficial, like super fucking superficial. That was kind of redundant. She never really gave a shit about anything that wasn't materialistic. She did cheerleading, and she was just a bitch. She was really weird and really stupid. And there was two more girls. Emily was this girl who was really nice, but both her and her brother were fucking psychos. While her brother was already a full-on psychopath who'd scream at us, even pulled a knife on a bitch in high school in my freshman year, but his sister, she was a pseudo-psycho. She was a psycho in the making, she was a pseudo-psycho in the making, hanging out with fucking Becca all the time. And by the way, by what Jethro has told me when I saw him the other day, she's mellowed out. She doesn't talk to any of them anymore. And then the last girl only hung out with us sometimes. She was pretty much in the same boat I was in. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, so we'll call her Amy. Amy was pretty nice. She was kind of like me. She was into TV shows and games, and everybody else would put her down and bully the shit out of her, just like me. I never really talked to her, because I was quiet and she was quiet, but we were both the ugly ducklings. We were just there for them to pick on. These guys were the cool kids that just weren't enough to fit in, they just weren't enough to fit in with the cool kids. So they needed someone to put down to bring themselves up, and that someone was me. They found every opportunity they could to fuck with me, whether it be making shit up, locking me out of the house, or locking me in a room, stealing from me, or just putting me down and trying to justify it. They could harass the shit out of me. They could bully me, but the second I turned around and tried to defend myself, suddenly I was the motherfucking bad guy. I can never fathom why the hell I hung out with these cunts, why I stayed with these cunts for so long. And for years, it was the same shit over and over again with them. Let me break it down for you. The first time I stood up to them, I immediately got shot down in flames. I don't remember what they said, but I finally blew up in their faces and told them how angry it made me when they did this shit to me. I stormed off and I think it was Elizabeth and Becca, they caught up to me and they took the opportunity to belittle me even more when I was already weak. They tried telling me, oh, it's tough love. Yeah, called me fucking ugly. It's all fun and games, I bet. They basically beat me into submission with their words. When I go too far missing with any of my friends and they get upset, I go to them, I tell them, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't know it crossed the line. I won't go there again. I was joking. I didn't mean to offend you. I won't do it again. But these motherfuckers, what they told me boiled down to, oh, we're gonna continue to walk all over you. You're not gonna. What they told me boiled down to, we're gonna continue to walk all over you, and you're not gonna be able to protest because it makes us feel good. And there was a really stupid point where they offered me blackberry pie, and I said, ew, I don't like blackberries. And then Elizabeth pretended to be all sad, acting like I fucking hurt her feelings, as a way to manipulate me. And it worked. Moving on, let me tell you about Emily's birthday party. A bunch of her friends were there. Some I knew, some I didn't, and somehow I managed to get invited, which was odd because most of the time they didn't even fucking knew I existed. I'm surprised she remembered. But I think it may have been her mom that invited me. They left me out of shit so often. It's just like I existed only when they wanted something from me. Anyway, shitload of people everywhere. There was a ton of food, and I was like, hell yeah, because her mom was a really good cook. So, I loaded my plate, I was happy as hell, and I took a seat, and I had a few bites, and I realized this food was fucking awful. Her mom didn't cook. It was her aunt. And of course, little old me, not wanting to be rude, finished the entire fucking plate. I wanted to die. No offense to her aunt. It was okay. I don't hate her. And later that day, everyone crowded into the media room in the basement, and we agreed on watching a movie. When I say we, I mean not me. I had no say in this, because I fucking hate movies. I make a very few exceptions to go see a movie. Anyway, they were all browsing Netflix, and And all the Transformers movies were out at the time, and I was like, yo guys, let's watch Transformers. And they were pissed immediately. They all turned to me and were fucking yelling and screaming, and I just kind of receded into a shell, and I was like, well, fuck me then. Back then, I was really easy to convince that I was bad or not good enough. So when I realized my so-called friends, quote-unquote, had something against me, I felt like shit always. That's probably a reason why I retreat into, like, a fantasy and seek comfort in fictional worlds and characters. I mean, hell, I still do that to this day. While my new friends aren't pieces of shit and they're actually, you know, they roast me, but they care about me in the end. You know, but if I'm feeling down or lonely, I prefer to be left alone because I like to go watch a series or a movie I like, or hell, write a story, because it helps me feel better, you know? But these guys didn't like that. If I ever opened my mouth about any of my favorite things, they'd be so quick to shut me the fuck down and tell me I was gonna die alone. Especially Becca. She said something really fucking offensive one time. She was like, because I have a fuck huge Transformers collection, and I think there was this one kid that came over that was interested, and I was showing him pictures, and she said something kind of mean. She wasn't joking. Like, she said it in a really nasty tone. She was like, you're not gonna die alone with 32 cats. You're gonna die alone with 32 Transformer figures. And I was like, bitch, piss off. Well, I didn't say that because I was a little bitch and I didn't fucking do anything. Anyway, funny enough, her saying that I'm gonna die alone, because I've kept a man longer than she ever fucking will. This one I have currently is my first man, and I've kept him longer than she has kept like 30 fucking dudes by now. But back on topic, whenever they scroll past anything Transformers related, movies, TV series, I think Transformers Prime was what was hot at the time. I think it started at that time, and like, that was on Netflix or something, and they'd all just immediately turn to me and fucking scream. I didn't say anything to them, but they just all like, rah, rah, no, we're not doing, and it's like, I didn't fucking say anything. So when I finally had enough, I kind of reached for the phone, you know, I dialed up my grandpa, and I remember just uttering the words, hey, can you come get me? And suddenly there was a fucking uproar from the room. Here these niggas were, fucking screaming at me at the top of their lungs, and now all of a sudden, they're shocked when I want to fucking leave. I did that shit a lot, where they would do something to me, and then they get upset when I try to leave. They would try to act all sad and manipulate me, and of course, me being me, I fell for that. Back on what I was saying about them never knowing I existed, there's this time where they were all planning to go to Six Flags, without me, right in front of me. Emily's mom was paying, and someone dropped out, and they found out they had an extra ticket and an extra seat in the car, and I kind of politely chime in, and I'm like, oh, I mean, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to come along. I mean, I've never gone to Six Flags before. Oh, no, thank you. That's what they said. They were like, oh, no, we'll find someone. No. They were just garbage. They were horrible. Fucking, this one time we were by the fire that Jethro had started in his backyard. He had a little fire pit, and I brought stuff for s'mores. Well, I fucking got burning marshmallow all over my hands, and motherfucker, it hurt. Now, Jethro was inside, and I didn't want to just barge in, so I asked my quote-unquote friends, yo, someone get Jethro, I need some napkins and band-aids, my hand is fucked up, and they just ignore me. Now my hand is fucking burning and sticky, and it's covered in molten fucking marshmallow. And I kept trying to get their attention, and I did. And they just all laughed at me and made jokes. Lol, we don't have paper towels, we ate them. These kids could not give less of a fuck about me. This wasn't the only time they laughed at me when I was injured. On a more serious note, something that could have seriously hurt me, these little fuckheads set me into a tree to get a ball or some shit off a branch this one time. They threw it up there because they're idiots. And literally all of them were too much of chicken shit to do it themselves. So me, being the caring little doormat I was, I volunteered. And I made my way up, and boy did I come the fuck back down. The branch snapped beneath me, and I fell. All the way to several feet to the ground. And they gave zero fucks. I was laying there writhing, and they just laughed and took their ball. I was obviously in pain on the fucking ground, and I was scraped up, and I could have sworn I broke something. Luckily, I was okay, sorta. I mean, I came home covered in bruises and scratches and shit, but nothing was broken. Oh, she could have broken her bones, but lol, who cares? We got her ball. This one's probably the most despicable because they played on a serious allergy of mine. I'm very allergic to bees. I got stung once and it swelled up to the size of a goddamn orange. And since then, I've made it my mission to dodge bees like bullets. Well, what these niggas thought was funny was either throwing nests at me, or they would tell me bees were in my hair, which has happened before. And naturally, I'd flip the fuck out while they laughed in my face, because allergic reactions are fucking hilarious to them, apparently. After a while, I got sick of their shit, and Becca tried to pull that on me again, and I threw a chunk of moss in her face, and they all flipped shit. While I knew them, I did find new friends. It was only 2 of them. I don't know if I've ever talked about them, but they appreciated me for who I was. They were nice to me, and from aside the friendly roasting, we were cool. You know, we were all into the same things. They were my brother's friends. They like, you know, video games, TV shows, stuff like that. And let me tell you a tidbit about our LARPing adventures. At the time, this took place during my Transformers Wing phase. If you think I'm bad now because I never shut the fuck up about it, I will talk about that phase some other time. I know I have before because it's just such a horrible point in my life, but back on topic, what we were doing is that we would do live action role plays, and we all picked a Transformer, and Autobot more specifically, and we'd pretend to be them, and we'd do shit. For example, the leader figure of the group was Sentinel, and me and the other dude, I think were Wreckers. He was Leadfoot. I know for a fact he was Leadfoot, and I think I was Roadbuster. And we fucked shit up, you know, we fucked around at the playground, building weapons and shit, and pretending to go on missions. Shit was fun. Well, anyway, my dickhead ass so-called friends came by to the playground one afternoon, and I was like, oh, fuck. I was reluctant, but whatever, we rolled with them. They all bought lunches, and I convinced my convinced my real friends to come meet with them. Big mistake. We didn't have anything, so I acted like a little waitress, and asked the 2 what they wanted to eat. They wanted, like, I think they asked for just plain sandwiches, but, like, I brought other shit, too. And, you know, I ran back up to my house, which was, like, literally, like, a few meters away from the playground. And I came back with bagged lunches for the 3 of us. The 2 got paper bags, but I brought like a reusable lunch bag. And we all sat down at the castle playground set, and, you know, we ate. I'm surprised they waited for me. I'm very surprised that they waited for me. But, so yeah, like I said, I brought my own reusable lunch bag. And, you know, the fuckheads is what I'm gonna call them. They all left theirs on the castle set, and so did I. Strike 1 is when me and my homie, who was Leadfoot, we're chilling on the swings, and Becca comes up to me, and she's going, oh, there's a turtle stuck in that fallen tree over there, you should help us save it. Oh, and I was like, okay, I mean, I'll go take a look. Well, we get there, and her and Elizabeth go fucking running toward the swings, and they hopped on and laughed at us, and I'm like, bitch, if you wanted the swing set, why didn't you just ask? Like, they were just that balls deep in the fucking with me, where they couldn't even ask me, because I would have let them on, because we were just sitting, we weren't doing anything. Strike 2 is when we were still in our LARP. We didn't break character, the whole time, and we were minding our own business. We were doing something, I don't remember, but I called to my homie, and I shouted, yo, Sentinel, since that was the character my homie was playing. And you know, the fuckheads start laughing at me, going, lol, why are you calling that? That's stupid, you're a child. Mind you, me and the oldest one, who was, you know, LARPing as Sentinel, we were 12, and the guy who was Leadfoot was 10. It's not that weird. Kids play pretend all the fucking time, and I've done it with them before. Sure, we didn't pick Transformers, but we've done shit like that. And I tried to explain to them what the fuck we were doing, but they just kept laughing. And Strike 3 is when they fucked with my friends. They tried pulling the shit that they do with me, but neither of them were having it. The guy, as Sentinel, told them to piss off, and it was glorious. I was so close to stepping in when they came after these 2, but they handled it beautifully. The dude, as Leadfoot, fucking threatened them with his makeshift sword that he built, and it was great. They backed the fuck off. It doesn't stop at Strike 3 either, just a heads up. Anyway, we decided we were thoroughly done with their shit, and we retreated into the woods to our usual spot, which we called our headquarters. there was like a fallen tree that was stretched across a stream, and it was like a little sandbar, and there was like a stream. It was really deep, it was pretty big, and there was rocks around, there was places to sit, places to do things. It was nice. It was a nice little area. And of course these assholes followed us, and we did our usual shit, but they wouldn't stop fucking commentating. They just would not stop. You know, a regular thing I like to do is I like care for the stream, or I take some notes in my journal, or I watch for animals, you know. And I remember specifically watching for animals, but these loud pieces of shit kept scaring them off. You know, I'd sit them down and I'm like, shh, be quiet. And I'm like, oh dear. They go, oh dear, oh dear. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? We had enough eventually, and we headed up to the basketball and tennis courts. Yeah, they were like literally right by the woods, and we'd go up in there, and we kind of pretended to spar with all our weapons. And guess who the fuck came up to bother us again? We gave up. We continued our shit while they spectated, and finally it was evening, and it was time to go home. Well, one of them went up for our lunch boxes, which was nice, except they left mine up there. No reason. They just didn't want to bring mine down. This is where I finally questioned why the fuck they are always leaving me out. So I tell the other two, and I'm like, I'll be back, I'm gonna go grab my lunchbox. And they were like, oh, okay. They were in the middle of a spar, so I just sat down my notebook, and I grabbed my lunchbox, I come back down, and my notebook was fucking gone. I lost it. I lost my fucking mind. It's not just because of the stolen notebook, it's the fact that this shit happens. It's the same shit with these guys every fucking I was screaming and yelling because I finally had enough with this shit. They finally coughed it up. They hid it in some leaves that are in the fucking corner of the basketball court. And I looked at them, I grabbed my shit, I didn't say anything to them. I grabbed my shit, I grabbed my homies, and I left. They never fucking saw me again. That was it. I was done. I don't know why they were like this to me. I did nothing but good for these motherfuckers, but they walked all over me. Hell, I'm not even gonna fully play the victim here because shame on me. Shame on me for letting them walk all over me like that. Shame on me for putting up with that. Shame on me for coming back day after day, every fucking time they sent me home crying or feeling like shit about myself. So there's my story. I hope you took something from this. Pick your friends wisely. Please pick your friends wisely. If you're like me and you're generous, please don't be a fool. Don't ever be a fool like me. Don't let some assholes who call themselves your friends walk all over you and manipulate you. Don't ever let your kindness or your generosity be taken advantage of. You should save that kindness and generosity for people who will fucking cherish that. For people who are willing to do the same for you. I can't count all the times that shit like they manipulated me and walked all over me. These fucking slime balls. Anyway, I hope you at least enjoyed listening to me ramble. Sorry if that was like a little heavy for you. It's just something I've wanted to talk about for a long time. So, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you are happy to join me for another video.